Today we're going to be talking about Cursor, one of the best AI coding tools out there and one we haven't really covered yet in this channel. This video is meant to be a complete beginner's guide for those that want to get into Cursor. So I would advise you to stay tuned and watch the whole video because this is going to be full of knowledge and full of everything that you need to know in order to get started. We will go over how to download Cursor, how to set up your first project, but more importantly, how to start using the AI to build your own project. This is similar to both Lovable, Revly Agents, and V0. Cursor is really a powerful coding tool that, I have to admit, intimidates many, including me. After this video, you will be able to have Cursor installed and be able to start working on your first project. It's a really good AI coding tool that you will want to get yourself familiarized with, even if you don't start using it. With that being said, I will offer you a free resource that will complement this video. I included step-by-step instructions, keyboard shortcuts, and everything that you need to know about Cursor as a beginner. And all you need to do is go to the description below and click on the link. Once you're on the landing page, just enter your email address and I will send it to you automatically. So it should not take that long. And while you're there, consider liking and subscribing to the channel. It really helps me out a lot. But without further ado, let's jump in and let's get started with Cursor. So to download Cursor, all you need to do is you need to go to cursor.com. And from the home page, you will want to click on the download button. Now, it's really important to know that the process for downloading Cursor into Windows is similar to the one for Mac. I'm currently on a Mac, so just keep that in mind. But after you click the download button, you will get a file that is downloaded into your application. The file is one like this. Again, I'm on a Mac. If you're on Windows, you will get one in your download folder. Just double click on it and open it, download it. Once you double click on that, you will have to drag on the application into your applications folder. Pretty standard when you download any app from the internet on Mac. And from there, you open it. It will ask you to create an account. Create an account on the website in Safari or Chrome or whatever you're using. And just click allow to open the application again once you have done creating your account, and we will take it from there. So once you have done setting up your Cursor account, this is where you're going to find yourself. This is the user interface for Cursor, and I will cover a few things. I'm going to go a little bit backwards because I have already created something just to show you, but I'm going to show you everything that you need to know about the Cursor interface, and then we're going to go backwards to the beginning and show you exactly how everything looks like. And the first thing I'm going to show you is that Cursor is not like Bolt or Lovable where you have a preview. There are two ways that you can go about seeing the preview. Number one, you can start an extension that is called Live Server, and Live Server allows you to see anything that has been written in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. If you're using other frameworks like React Native, there are other ways that we can go about it, but we're going to focus today on those simple ones because if you're building a website, that's probably what you're going to be using. So I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to click on Open Live Server, and we're going to get that here. Let me switch browsers. Different browsers. And this is what it built. This is only 1-2 prompts. Definitely not something I'm proud of, but it's a starting point and it allows me to show you what we're going to start today. So, number one, when you get your new project, it's going to be everything empty and everything will be closed. So up here, and there are different ways that we can go about it. I talk about the keyboard shortcuts that comes included in the file, and that will be something that you will want use as you go through the process. But easiest way to open the sidebars is here. So the left sidebar will include all your documents with folder, and that's where the code is being read. There is a way for you to search within your code and replace anything automatically, similar to the find and replace that you would find on Microsoft Excel. Here are the branches and source control. This is where you can connect to GitHub to make sure that your code is safe and you don't lose it, just like somebody that I read a few days ago that lost 4 months of work. So this is really important for you to use. And then here you have the extensions. If you're familiar with Bubble or most other no-code tools, you know that there are plugins that are available. Because Cursor is based on a VS Code fork, you will have access to most of the extensions or all of the extensions that are available in VS Code. And one of them that I'm using right now is Live Server, but there are many out there. I will also include a list in the starting guide on some of the extensions that you will probably want to consider if you start using Cursor. And then down here is just some other menu options. Realistically, it's only one. I'm wrong in debug. So I just use Cursor. Yes. Okay. That's for another video. I haven't tried that one. All right, so that's the left sidebar. Then we're going to open the right sidebar. And the right sidebar is where you're going to find your Composer. This is one of the ways that you can use Composer. And on the Composer is just similar to Bold, Lovable, Replicate Agents with Zero. You ask the AI to build something for you, and the AI will build it for you and will get it done. Basically, it will work really similar to all the other tools. They have more advanced features, but we're not going to cover those today because I want to focus on the beginner stuff for you to get started. Then you have the chat, and the chat is more like, if you have used Replicate Agents, the best way I can explain it is that the chat is the assistant, Composer is the agent. So the Composer will focus on writing code. The chat will focus on answering questions for you, but furthermore, it can write code that is specific to the context that you want to use. And then lastly, we have the bug finder, and this is how Cursor focuses its AI on finding bugs and fixing them. It's really similar to what you see on Lovable and the agents, all the other places where you find a bug and then it works to fix. Lastly, if you need access to your terminal, you want to open the bottom drawer down here, and that's where you will be able to access the terminal, the port, the debug console, and some other stuff that you're going to see that you're going to probably need to use along the way. That's that. We're going to close that, and we're going to go back to Composer because there is one thing that I want to mention, and that is that you have access to 4 different AI models, including 3.5, GPT-O, GPT-4o Mini, and O1. So depending on your use case and what you're building, perhaps you would want to switch between one and the other. If you want to focus on building and writing code, then I would recommend sticking with Claude 3.5 Sonnet. The paid plans have more options. On the free plan, you only get 5 prompts per day. So if you want more than that, then you probably want to switch to the pay plan, which is about $20 per month. So relatively similar to all the other AI coding tools. Now, I mentioned that there were 2 ways that you can use the AI. You can use it from the sidebar, or you can use it directly in the code. Now, it's worth knowing that while it's really difficult to make edits to the code if you know how to code, if you're a software developer, it's really difficult to make changes to the code. Bold, Lovable, and most other AI coding tools. Because Cursor is built on top of VS Code, you will be able to make changes to the code however you want. One of those ways, other than writing, you can write them I want it. And one of the ways that you can do it is by focusing AI on fixing something specifically that you want to do. So you can either chat with it, and you can ask to explain to me this does, and you can ask the AI to explain it, and AI can explain it to you. Or you can just, again, highlight it, and you can request edit. So look for 2 action buttons. Change this. And click enter, and then it's going to make the changes. And as you can see, it has added 4 other buttons that is highlighting. And from here, you either accept or reject those changes. I'm going to reject them because it doesn't make sense. C is equal to, and this is just a silly example for me to show you what I'm talking. So we're going to close this, and let's jump into the next section. All right, I mentioned that we were going to be working on what I already had, and then we're going to go back very beginning, right? So when you sign up for an account in Cursor, this is where you're going to find yourself in the Cursor main page. And here you can do one of many things. Number one, you can open an existing project after you have worked in it. And the next step that we're going to be working on is really important for you to be able to open the project, know where it is. Then you can clone a repository. So you can go to GitHub, get the repository that you want to use, get the link, and come back and clone it in Cursor and be able to use any open source tool as your starting point, or connect via SSH. Being honest with you, I have no idea what that is. But what I want you to do is, the beginning of every project is, I want you to go to File. You're not seeing them right now, but I want you to go to File, and I want you to go to Open Folder. And this is going to be really, really important, because if you do this and you don't know where your project is being saved, odds are that you will spend hours looking through your computer trying to find where the folder is being saved. So before you start any project, I want you to File, Open Folder. Personally, I like going on the desktop, so I encourage you to go to the desktop, but whatever folder you feel like you should be saving these on. And we're going to put folder, and we're going to call it Demo February 24, which is today's date, and now we're going to click Open. Now this is really important because show you this file like. Once you have done that, then remember the last project we had 2 files, the index and the styles. All the files will be saved there. I know exactly where they are. And perhaps I will create a folder in my desktop that is called projects or something like that, and that's where I save those. I would encourage you to stay organized in that matter. That way you know exactly where your projects are, your files, and you can reference them or find them relatively easy. So once you have created your folder, this is now your project. You're there. Now you can click on Command I, open the right sidebar. If you are on Windows, that would be Control. But I'm on a Mac, so Command I, and that opens the right sidebar, and that allows me to enter my prompt here on the side. It's really important because we're going to go back to the old project here in a moment. It's really important to know that there are many ways that you can go about prompting, and whether that is adding context and searching files and adding files there, or by mentioning different sections within your code, you can do that. You can also ask to search the web, search the course code base, and use the cursor rules, features, summarize composers, notepads. So there's a whole lot of context that you can add file. Most of these are not going to be available in most other AI coding tools because Cursor is like years ahead. That's why it's intimidating, because it has so many options. You can add folders, you can code from other sources to use as inspiration. Documents, Gits from GitHub, notepads. There's a lot of ways that you can be using Cursor to be able to build your project. You can also attach image screenshots that allows you to guide AI to know exactly what it will, and you can also submit the code base to the chat. That's they had completed generating the code base to make sure that it gets inserted right away, and you can also here on the we're going to go back to Composer for a moment, and you can either use these as normal mode or agent mode. And agent mode works more like Replit Agent, where you give it a task and it breaks it down subtasks and it creates your code here. Once you have used your composer to build a feature and you're done with that feature and you're starting a new feature, I recommend you to start a new composer so it starts fresh and it doesn't have the bias that I already had created with the old feature that you were creating. Here you have the history of all the conversations that you've had throughout time. And lastly, you can open Composer as editor, bar. If you open as a bar, is down here. This is the edit portion. We want it as this. And here you can also close it and reopen it. Now, if I want to open a project that I was already working on, so all I have to do is go to project, find my project folder, click on it once, and open. That will open all the files. As I mentioned before, there was one thing I wanted to do to show you, and that is going to be so here you can search for files. So the files that include, and then excuse me, and then here we can say proof file. And that way it's focusing on exactly the file that I'm asking it to focus on rather than any other file. This is realistically, this is an overkill because I only have 2 files, so renew we needed proof. So, but as you can see, it's creating new files within my project. Now it has the script, and I can either accept and reject and save them. And I want to accept them because I want to see how you now. So open this server and down here. And I gotta say that my prompts are being really vague, other than these being weird colors, whatever, and this image being relatively small. It's, I mean, it could be worse. It's not that bad. I bet you I can fix this and make it turn it into a really nice landing page with a little context and more information. But as you can see now, we have a script, JavaScript, and all that one does is it does the scroll animations and section. So this stories. Okay, so the animations in the nav bar and not bad product animations base. And then here we have the font, colors. This is where all the CSS is being set. And like I mentioned before, if you need to make changes, just make changes there. I think that's it for Cursor. We have made it to the end of this video. I really appreciate you taking your time and watching this video with me. And I really hope that I was able to teach you all the basic skills that you need to get started with Cursor. I will make progressively more advanced videos to guide you through the beginner's process, which is today, this is what you're seeing today, to the point where you are able to create and use the cursor agent and be able to be a master of it. It will take time, it will be a process. But that's the roadmap of what we're planning here, and similar thing for other tools. I will ask you for two things while you're here. Number one, please like this video. It helped me reach more people around the world. The algorithm take into consideration the likes and the comments to be able to determine which videos are best, and I will ask you to please help me with that. And number two, please consider subscribing to the channel, as it helps me get more credibility as people find my videos. But other than that, thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next video.